Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and hope you guys are enjoying a nice weekend. We are at Sunday today, and I want to talk to you all about the upcoming Claws of Fury milestone event, or it's a couple of milestones that's going to be starting on Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and we're going to be going over the math. This is the final week 4 event for this November month-long event for Black Panther 1mm, and this is going to get you the 100,000 event item to hopefully get you as close as possible to that 500,000 threshold, and we're going to talk about the points and how many is available and how you're going to get there. So if you're ready to go, don't forget, also, going to say this now, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I know there's a lot of people that watch my math videos, particularly my event videos, so if you can support me and hit that subscribe button down below, if you haven't already, that would be awesome. So, if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Oh, there I am. So I want to start off really quickly here. Now, this is a quick overview of the First Panther November event. I do this every week just so people are understand where we're kind of at as far as the points total. And so you need obviously, let's zoom in a little bit. So obviously you need 500,000 points. That much is clear. You're going to get 100,000 points after completing the week 4 Claws of Fury event. And then there is, okay, so on Friday and the Friday before, we did get a 3750 free claim Friday. I think this might happen again. So when we look at the grand total down below, we might get a little bit more, because this is actually the closest it's ever been in recent months. That the total as it sits right now with everything that we know of is 500,400, which is a surplus of 400, and it's not a lot. And the reason why this is a bit of an issue is because the final coordinated assault milestone, and maybe the last two, are a little bit challenging. The last milestone is 2,000 vibranium, so over both of them, that's 4,000. Coordinated Assault is running right now as of recording this video, the last one. So if you're not able to get these, it may be a bit of a struggle for you to possibly get the 500k. Now, if you do add if there is another 3750 on Friday, then that'll bring us up to plus 4150. So you could then miss the 2,000 vibranium on both of the coordinated assaults and still get that 500k as long as you did literally everything else. So in Claws of Fury, there is 31,500 available. So plus the 100k, that's like 131k. That's a lot of points. So, if you're wondering like, hey, Boilon says we should be at 500k. That's not what I'm saying right now. I'm just saying that that's available and that's going to become available. We also have the Quick Rumble for the final Quick Rumble, which is going to be next Friday as well, which is supposed to be Astonishing X-Men. So, let's jump on over to the Milestone Math. And where did I get this information from? Well, you do get it from the blog, obviously, and I broke that down. Now, what are you getting out of this? You're getting, obviously, the event item, but you're also getting the silver phase bits to purchase Namor's costume. Now, what's really interesting is that this is really deep down on the event milestone, and I'm wondering if that was like actually intended or I'm blind. This is the Battle Scars chart. This is the Milestone Math for that. But if you can see, and actually it took me a while to find it, it's down here, I think, at Milestone 31. Can I zoom in a little bit further? Milestone 31 down here, where you need to get 39,000 points to get the extra 25,000 phase bits for the costume, which is like way past the heart-shaped herb, which is 23,000 to 39,000. That's like almost like it's a lot. It's like an extra 40% or more that you need to do in order to get just the costume. And I feel it's really weird because oftentimes the costume actually came before the event item, because I feel like who gives a shit, right? Like I feel like the event item is more valuable than the costume, but hey, maybe that's just me. That's just what I think, because I think the retail value of the costume is like $10 US. Pretty sure it was available in the offers to buy beforehand. This one's a little bit of a weird one. I don't like this event personally because they've overcomplicated it by requiring the use of Nakia's rings. And they've essentially substituted flat milestone points for Nakia's rings. And they're just overcomplicating the wording and why it's a bit... It's just... They're adding more hoops. Yes, because it's a ring. to this milestone unnecessarily. They could have just left it as, okay, you're just like the Spy Games event, right? Where you got milestone points that just fed into the main one. And now they're just calling it Nikia's Rings, which is essentially the same thing. Just, it's not in a weird way. So we're going to go over that, and we'll refer back to this when we need to. And so I want to jump back. This is the main thing. So this is the main milestone, the Battle Scars milestone, which includes energy spending, campaign energy. So, you know, if you haven't already, you know, and I wanted to bring this up now, hoarding everything. Hopefully you've already done this. I brought this up in previous videos. Hoard your arena rank and hoard any extra campaign energy. Every little bit helps. So at this point, you know, we're playing Marvel Horde Force, and you know, every extra little bit does help. Now, as you can see in mine, I only have 3 arena. I've accidentally claimed these because, like, it's force of habit. I wake up in the morning, I check my store at 9 a.m. and then just sometimes, because that's my payout actually, unfortunately, at 9 a.m. because I downloaded this game when I was in Europe, you know, way back in the day. And so I have this bad force of habit of just clicking my arena claim, and it really sucks. And I've actually been slipping a little bit because people are just trying so much harder for this event upcoming, I think, to like keep their arena rank a little bit higher up. So I used to be in the top 10, and now I've slipped to like top 20, which is kind of annoying. But anyways, make sure that you've been doing that. And so going back to this, the total milestone points required for this event, I'll zoom in a little bit more too, is 60,000. But obviously, you're not going to get there. There's always the Whalestone. So what are you missing by not getting the 60,000? Not a ton, in my opinion. There's an Elite 6 orb, actually, at the very end for the Whalestones. Some Armory 17 orbs, some Armory 16 orbs, some teal gear. Not teal gear, teal minis, I guess, in here. And some more teal minis, and then some, I don't know, Superior Hyper. I think this is like G15 minis and stuff. So, honestly, for veterans and even just other players, it's not a huge deal. There is some T2 level 4 ions, some blue 4 ions though, but at the end of the day, if you're spending money, just buy those stupid offers, I guess. Not that I really want people to buy blue 4 ions, but you know, they're just kind of chucking them in there, but you're very unlikely to get there, and we'll talk about what's realistic. So you need the milestone points for the event item is 23,000. And then you get 19,500 meteorites. Just from this, there's going to be meteorites in the other milestones, which is kind of important as well. And then 39,000 points if you want to get the Namor costume, which I highlighted in red. It's not that it's impossible to get this. It's just that you basically have to tick all the boxes, or most of the boxes, if you want to get this. Whereas the event item, actually, for what it's worth, is a lot more easier to get to, and we'll talk about how we get there. So you get 15 points for Nikia's Rings. The total amount of rings, now this is not necessarily how many everyone is going to get, but there is 800 up for grabs in the Powerful Paws milestone, which is going to be the Power Core stuff, and then the Roar of Wakanda, 825 there is up for grabs, and that is the War milestone. We'll talk about that down below. So I say that the total reasonable rings is actually 1150. That's 325 from this one. This is the Power Core one, because this is really shifty, right? It really depends on how much you saved your Power Cores, how many Power Cores you're even getting, and what other availability you have for Power Cores to collect. Because there's, at the end of the day, not a ton you can do about it if you're not already doing well in Arena. And then actually, I think that for the most part, the Roar of Wakanda milestone is fairly easy to complete. So I just added this in here for 1150, and then that gives you rings points of 17,250. However, if you do push the Power Core milestone, you could hypothetically get up to 24,375 total points from the rings. But this is, the 17,000 is probably the number that we want to pay attention to, which is interesting, because if you subtract that from the 23, that's only an extra 6k that you need, and we'll see down below how the campaign energy fits in. So this is pretty typical. You know, the amount of campaign energy that you get per day is static. It doesn't change. It hasn't changed for a while. You get 2 points per energy. So you get your free-to-play energy. That's your time-based energy. That's, you know, 1 every 5 minutes. Your free refreshes, that's 3 times a day for 80 energy each. 4 core refreshes, that's up to 480. If you want to spend, you know, anywhere from 200 cores or 150 cores if you have those packs, those energy packs, and you get 100 from the web store, and then add that all together and you get about 1108. And then, so you multiply that by 2 for the points, and then times that by 7, because it's 7 days, and you get 15,500. So if you add the 15,005 plus the 17,250, that gets you about 32. Did I add that? No, I didn't. It's 32,700, something like that, right? And so you can tell that that's about 9,000 points above what you need for the event item. The problem is, though, if you want the name or costume, you kind of need to add this number with this number, because 24 plus 15,000 is 39,000. Very hard to do. So reaching the name or costume for most of us probably isn't going to happen. Do we care, though? Probably not. If you're not huge into costumes, then, or if you are, maybe you would have bought that $10 offer where the costume was available, I think, like maybe a week or two ago. I don't remember when the movie came out. So let's go down to the Powerful Pause milestone. This is the collect power cores, and this is where I want to talk about some specific tips. I did already mention things like this, and it's funny because actually I'm recording this over the store reset time from Saturday, but that just popped in. There's one thing that I want to raise really quickly in this video if you haven't done this already, and I think that this is going to really help you get a little bit further on this event milestone if you haven't done it. Now, not everyone is going to be able to do this because some people may have already done this. Now, this is signing up with your Scopely account. This is if you haven't done this yet, and actually it keeps rolling over after every 28 days. Because I didn't do it. I did not sign up for a Scopely account, and after the timer ran out, it actually just reflipped back over to another 29 days. So, if you haven't done this yet, this is a very quick and easy way for you to collect 1,000 power cores. Will I do it? Maybe. Honestly, I've just been really resistant to doing this, but I may do it for the purposes of this milestone. They might finally break me, and the Powerful Pause milestone requires a lot of power cores over 7 days, which is near impossible for most people unless you spend money. Keep in mind that any version of collecting power cores, including buying power cores, counts for this. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You're also going to get 250 from your login calendar. That should run over this as well. So I just want to put this as a little mini subtotal that you can kind of subtract from some of the numbers here. There are 6,000 vibranium meteorites in this milestone, and there is going to be 2480 power cores required to get that. So that's kind of the goal that we want to get to here. Now, not everyone is necessarily going to get this, but this is the goal that we want to get all the available vibranium meteorites. And the amount of Nakia's rings that you're getting at 2480 is 325. So above, when we talked about the reasonable rings from this event, from this milestone, that's what I was talking about. And so that requires a daily core amount of 319. Which is interesting. There's also going to be a free daily claim. There could be, I think, throughout the course of the event. I think that's what we were told in the blog post, that there was going to be power cores every day. I just don't know how many they are, and we weren't really told that in the blog post. So that could help you get there, and it will reduce the amount of daily cores that you need. It could be like 50, it could be 100. Honestly, I don't know, but hopefully it helps you get through there. This is kind of your daily power core collection, though. So you're getting about 50 through the high roller if you get to about 1 million. Then there's the energy milestone. You actually get 50, but it's essentially 25 per day because it's a 2-day milestone. And then the daily objectives give you about 50 as well. So if you add that up, that's about 125 from your daily stuff that you're doing, and then on top of arena. So this really varies depending on like how well you're doing in your arena. And so you could get anywhere from, like, let's say 175 to 425, maybe even a little bit higher if you're like top 5 or whatever, but I'm not counting that. And so that's kind of the ballpark. And if we're talking about 319 cores, hopefully you can take this 175 plus the free claim plus the login calendar, and you might even out to like what you need, which is 319. Hopefully you can get to about 2,500 over the course of the 7 days, because that's really where you need to get to. Like I said, there are remaining rings available in this milestone, and if you actually are able to claim this, if you haven't done it yet, that will push you a lot further, and that might give you more rings as well and more wiggle room for this event. However, let's move on to the Roars of Wakanda. This is the War with War Dogs thing. It's entirely with war. It's actually not that bad, assuming that you have War Dogs geared a little bit, and we'll talk about that. So the total milestone points required for this one is 3,400. There is another 6,000 vibranium meteorites that you can get in this alongside the other one that we talked about above. 825 Nakia rings. You get points from battling in war, just flat battles. And then war attacks with War Dogs. So this is kind of important a little bit to kind of make sure that you finish this milestone. So I basically multiplied this depending on how many war attacks you do. So 30 is 10 per match, 36 would be 12, and then 42 would be all 14. And so you don't need to do this, but what you do kind of want to aim for is 12. plus War Dogs. So if we take a look, 36 War Attacks is going to be 1,800 points. Keep that number in mind in your head. And then if you do a full War Dog attack, that's 400 points. That's 5 of them. And then plus, so 50 plus 70 times 5, so 350 plus 50 is 400. So just for using War Dogs, regardless of what gear tier they are, you're going to get 400 points. Now, if you do that, you'll get 1,200. So if you add 1,200 plus 1,800, that's 3,000. It's not quite the 3,400 you need. So how are you going to get to the 3,400? Well, if you have them at gear tier 13, that'll give you an additional 450 points across all 5 of the characters. And so that will help you as well. So for me, I actually have a gear tier 16 Shuri. But instead of, I didn't want to gear tier 13 all of them, so, you know, hopefully that balances it out. But if you do want to make sure that you full clear this milestone, then you're going to need War Dogs at G13 across the board. You might be able to compensate this a little bit with some higher characters. For example, if you have a G16 Shuri like I do, then that would compensate for not having G13 on somebody else. Just for example there. So this is really important to make sure you get all the Nikia's rings on this milestone, which means that if you want to do this, the War Dog attacks are separate from these, so which means that you need to do 12 attacks and then a 13th attack with your War Dogs at G13 if you want to full clear this milestone. If you don't, no big deal. What are you going to miss if you don't get that? I mean, there's a lot of actually decent stuff in here for the lack of difficulty. Like, it's not super hard to do this. You're just doing war attacks. And so I think that the rewards that you do get for some of this actually is not bad. You know, it's not something that you really need. You don't have to get to the 3,400. Like I said, the 3,000 actually is where the Nikia rings drop. So then that way you can actually just add the 36 war attacks plus the 3 war dog attacks. That'll give you 3,000, and that'll give you all the rings. But if you want to get the extra teal gear on top, then you can do that with G13 War Dogs or some combination that puts you over the line. So keep that in mind as well. But otherwise, I think the biggest issue here is that this is the first time that we've ever had a collect power core milestone. We've had a spend power core. Obviously, we've had lots of spending power cores, whether directly or indirectly. But this is the first time where it's like earned or collect power cores, and this kind of sets a weird precedent that basically anything is up for grabs in Marvel Strike Force 4 events, and it just reiterates it and reinforces the fact that we need to hoard all of our resources. My spreadsheet will be available, of course, in my Discord channel. Usually all of my spreadsheets are available roughly about 6 to 8 hours after the video goes live, because I just want people to watch my video because it's important, and, you know, that's what I would prefer. But otherwise, if you're text-based, and that's why I release these videos a day in advance as well, so you have plenty of time to think about it before the event goes live. So I hope that this was helpful. Good luck, Commanders. I know that was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but, you know, I do wish you good luck. And of course, this is the last week of the November month-long event, and hopefully you guys can collect as many of the event items and currency as you possibly can. So that's the end. Until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all later. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. Boilon signing out.